Of soul.
This is Bass Talk Live. Your host, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pangrack. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Lose, Strike King Lures, Bass Cat Boats, Ducket Fishing, Spro, APCO, Big Bite Baits, Sunline, and TH Marine. BTL coming at you. Good Tuesday, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Yes, I'm flying solo, at least for a few minutes. Matthew had some issues with the clock. He tried to explain to me what happened, and honestly, I don't understand what happened. He can explain it when he gets here. But something about his phone said one thing, his truck said another, his alarm clock said another, the power didn't go out. I'm not really sure what happened. We'll get an explanation when he gets here, hopefully in about 10, 15 minutes. So what we're going to do is we have a double guest show today on BTL. Two very, very cool guests. First guy that's going to be up, and we're going to go to him after we take a break. The man is just absolutely smashing them on the West Coast. 2 Toyota Series wins, one on Lake Havasu, one on Clear Lake, and we are right around the corner to the U.S. Open. And we're going to visit with Tai Au, who has been making some trips to his bank. The bank account has been getting a little bit larger because of his performance on the water. And we're going to get his take on his season, his 2 big wins, and then hopefully get a pretty good preview for the U.S. Open that's going to take place next week on Lake Mead. Another event on Lake Mead, another U.S. Open. And these October U.S. Opens, they're very intriguing. You might have a day where somebody goes out and catches 12, 13 pounds, which is a huge, huge limit. But most of the guys, they go out, they catch their 5 pounds, their 6 pounds. Probably one of the most exciting events to take place in bass fishing. I know we've had Rick Clunn on this show. He has said many, many times that when the U.S. Open was back in the month of July, in the heat of the summer, 120,000 degrees on Lake Mead, very, very tough fishing. It was the toughest tournament in America, not according to just Rick Clunn, but a number of other anglers also say that when the U.S. Open took place in the heat of the summer, that was the most demanding event in fishing. So now with the move to October, hey, it's still exciting. I know Billy Egan still has a field of over 200 boats. It's going to be a really, really cool event, and we are going to be involved with some of the coverage that's going to take place once again. Even though we're not going to be there, we're going to utilize the software that we've been using for the show to give people some insights and actually do the weigh-in each day from the U.S. Open. So that's going to be our first guest. Then next up, I was intrigued by something that, quite honestly, folks, I had no idea even existed. It's called the National Professional the National Professional Anglers Association, the NPAA. And with all this stuff that we have going on with all these abbreviations and acronyms and everything else, the National Professional Anglers Association Executive Director, Mr. Pat Nye, is going to be on in the second half show and talk a little bit about what the NPAA, not to be confused with the PAA, For some people out there that are listening, you might remember the PAA. It's nothing to do with the PAA. Initially, when I ran across it, that's kind of what I thought. But I thought, wait a minute, the PAA doesn't even exist anymore. Well, you're right, it doesn't exist, but the NPAA does, and we've got the executive director on. And the other thing is, we're gonna offer some stuff to the BTL fans that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else except right here on BTL when it comes to the NPAA. So excited to get Pat on and really explain what this organization is all about. It's not just about being in an organization if you're a professional. That's not what it's about. So we'll have him on here in about, 30, 40 minutes and have Pat explain what his organization is all about and how it can help you, even if you're not that non-touring professional. Because face it, guys, there are a lot of issues out there that professional anglers and what we're classifying now as the non-touring professionals that you have to deal with. I'm going to give you 2 examples. 1, health insurance. 2, taxes. Those are 2 things that are critical. If you don't have a business or a full-time employment with a company where you have insurance coverage, this may be able to help you guys out in the long run when it comes to those 2 items. And then taxes. You hear me talk about taxes all the time on this show. Hey, man, if you're making money, you're paying taxes. So what is the best practice? What's the best practice to really take advantage of what tax preparation you have out there when you're a tournament angler? Not just a touring professional, but just like Tai Au. All right, the man's got he's got a great job. He's winning all kinds of money on the West Coast. I'm sure he's got a good tax accountant, a good guy that's going to take care of him, as I see him in the queue as he shakes his head. So a lot of stuff out there that the NPAA can help not only the touring pros with, but the non-touring professionals, including guides. There's so many guides out there, all right? Self-insured, got to go through, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, all this other stuff. They got to pay taxes too. All right, but there's a number of other benefits that we're going to talk about with Pat. So let's do this. We're waiting on Matt to walk through the studio door. I expect him here any minute now. But in the meantime, we're going to take a break, and then we will come back with Tai Au. Talk a little West Coast fishing and some domination in a couple events out there. So everybody stay tuned right here on a Tuesday.
The ultimate fishing system starts with Lowrance HDS Live. The best fish finding tools, from chirp sonar and fish reveal to side scan and down scan imaging, and complete touchscreen control from your trolling motor to your big motor.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Kevin, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just filling in for Billy.
I need a 660 shad crankbaits in the Series 5 model.
We're out.
You're not out. You got all kinds of them right there.
We're out.
Kevin, I need 6.
Have a lollipop.
I do not want a lollipop.
Have a lollipop.
Do you have it in sexy shad color?
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Duck It Fishing, pro-driven.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Engineered and built to be rugged with waterproof and submersible options. Designed for easy installation, Blue Water is available in a variety of colors and styles. All backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Blue Water by TH Marine.
All of us on the Pro Tournament Trail use Gamakatsu hooks.
Why?
Because they are absolutely the best.
It's not about how many bites you get.
It's how many you put in the boat.
Gamakatsu makes hooks for every fishing style.
We didn't come this far to lose fish.
Did you?
For more information, visit gamakatsu.com.
The Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Swim-On is a very unique bait, and it's got a full body but with ribs to give it a bigger profile but not more plastic. It's got a jointed tail that gives it a lot of action, as well as this up and down crawl type trail with holes and ribs in it, so it creates a bubble trail almost. This bait is supposed to be fished upside down or vertical like this on a grate for a chatterbait. I prefer it on a swim jig as well, but you can also cut it down and put it on the back of a finesse jig. You know, flip it around for some spotted bass or flipping docks. Anytime you want a small, compact, you know, little trailer for it, this is great for it. So check out the full lineup of swim-ons at bigbitebaits.com. Professional angler, you've got so many things on your mind. Any advantage that we have is key. And not only rods and reels and lines and baits, but in our clothes. And the guys at AFCO, I mean, they have something for every situation. There's nothing AFCO hasn't thought about with the fishermen in mind. It's designed for fishermen, by fishermen, for every scenario you can come to. Any fish, any water, any condition, AFCO has you covered.
Yeah, you care about gear ratios, inches per turn, and ball bearings, but most importantly, you want reliability and dependability in the equipment you use. Lew's doesn't cut corners when it comes to the gear they build. The new Speed Spool LFS is the best $99 reel in the market. Go see for yourself.
The name SPRO says it all. SPRO stands for Sports Professionals. When you look at the pro staff that SPRO has brought on board over the past 15 years, it's been pretty incredible. I mean, one got it just then. From the development of the rock crawler to the McStick, from the Fat Papa to the Little John series, when you tie a SPRO bait on, you know it's been designed by a professional to get the job done.
All right, we are back. Mark Jeffries here, flying solo. Matthew, you should be plowing through the door of the studio any minute now, hopefully. But in the meantime, we are going to go to our first special guest. It's a little early on the West Coast. That's what happens when we get West Coast guys on with the time difference. But excited to have this guy on BTL for the first time, and he has been smashing them so far in 2020 on the Toyota series. So let's bring him in now. Tai, you there, man?
What the heck?
You okay, man? You good? Now he's muted. You good? And he went away. Things are going just peachy this morning, folks. We did a test at 8 o'clock with Tai. He got up early, 6 a.m. Everything was fine. And now when we go to him, a disaster occurs. But hopefully we will get him back here in a minute. Looks like he's trying to get back in right now. Let's see if he's back. Tai, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here now. For some reason, it cut out.
Yeah, that was weird. We did a test. I was telling the people we did a test at 6 a.m. this morning, West Coast time, and everything worked out fine. So it looks like we're good to go now. Great backdrop there. Dude,
Thank you.
You have been hammering them in 2020 so far.
Yeah, looking back on the season, it's been an amazing season, and it's not even over yet. We got the U.S. Open coming up. I got Cumberland, and then also the Wild West Bass Trail Championship back at Clear Lake. So 3 more events.
All right, let's talk about the beginning of the year, pre-COVID, this whole thing going on. Obviously, you got a win at Havasu. What was your history on that lake, being from Arizona?
I'm not a Havasu local. Although I live in Arizona, Havasu is still about almost 4 hours away, and I fish it just like any other regional guy out there, maybe twice, 3 times a year at the most. But, Havasu is one of those unique fisheries where, for me, one of my stronger suits is bed fishing. So when I saw that on the schedule, I want to make sure I signed up and was able to find the fish. And, man, I got lucky there. I mean, found a pocket with 4 big fish, caught 3 of them. And when I left, and, probably around I want to say 9:30, 10 o'clock, I already had sitting on 20 pounds, and I found a 7-pounder, and that bumped me up to about 25 pounds, and the rest was history. Second day, conditions got real muddy. Couldn't bed fish anymore. It threw everybody in for a loop. We had a few inches of rain later on that evening after the first day. And the second day, I mean, it was brutal for a lot of us because, we're all planning on bed fishing. You had to bed fish to be a competitor there. And, it just didn't happen. But kind of looking at my history and what I've been doing on the West Coast, I fish a lot of local tournaments, and I'm not able to practice. I work. And basically for a local tournament, I just show up. I've been doing that for the last, 10, 12 years or so. And that's what really helped me for that tournament is the ability just to kind of drop what I'm doing and just go fishing. So that's exactly what I did. Probably around 9 o'clock, decided to just bed fish, and I was able to cover enough water to see how things set up and how things were setting up for that tournament. Is you really had to find the small pockets that didn't have a big wash running into it where the water was really dirty. There, you still had some clean water, and I was able to capitalize on that pattern and caught them on Nico rigs. And later on, when the barometric pressure dropped, I caught them a big one on a chatterbait. So that gave me a pretty good second day bag as well, 17, 18 pounds or something like that. And then the final day, I mean, I just went reaction in the morning, and then later when the sun popped out, went flipping and throwing a Nico rig and was able to call all my fish out on a Daiwa Nico Fat and a Cinco. And that gave me just a few ounces under 17 pounds. That secured my first win, which I think it took me 15 top 10 regional level events.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was 14, but yeah, finally secured my first win, and that felt good because I was called the bridesmaid. I was people were, they have some crazy names for me, but again, just to get that monkey off my back felt amazing. Coming into the California Delta, which I never missed the Delta. The Delta is one of those special fisheries. It's basically my home away from home. It's about a 13-hour drive for me. And it's a place my brother took me to and kind of got me back into fishing. That's why I love it so much. Kind of crazy to think that only, 10 years ago, I signed up for the FLW National Guard event out there. And again, I actually had quit tournament fishing. My brother dragged me out for that event, and I kind of fell back in love with it. And again, I never missed it. The only year that I did miss it was about 7 years ago when I had my firstborn, Jaden. Was scheduled right on top of when he was born. So that was the only event I missed. And fortunately, I was able to finish top 10 there as well, finish 10th place. And then coming into Clear Lake, man, what a crazy, crazy event. I left to Clear Lake directly from Lake Mead. So I know what's going on at Lake Mead right now, and the U.S. Open coming up. We can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Clear Lake event, I mean, I just got my 2021 Bass Cat Cougar hybrid. It's the one with the 203 hole, the first one on the West Coast that I know of. So during practice, I had to go break it in. Never hit the water before. My electronics wasn't even hooked up yet. Had wires hanging out. I mean, I was a mess and couldn't really concentrate on fishing because I had to break in my motor. And then at the same time, my grass weren't really working right because none of the wires were hooked up. They weren't linked. I didn't have a chip in it. And long story short, practice went horrible for me. I think in 2.5 days of practice, I don't even think I touched 5 keepers. I think my biggest fish that I touched during practice at Clear Lake, big bass factory, was about 2 1/4. I don't even think it went 2 1/2. And, leading up into the first day, I'm like, man, I blew Angler of the Year. I blew, any chance of getting top 10. I mean, I probably would have bet you my kids that I wasn't going to win that tournament before the tournament. Okay. So that's how sure I was. But, I'm optimistic. I know what I can do out there. So I just kind of strapped down and went fishing. So I didn't have a starting spot. I didn't know where to go. I just kind of went from spot to spot, bouncing around like I do in practice. So really, I was practicing during the tournament. And the only reason why I went to this area is I threw out a Cinco during practice. I got bit, set the hook, broke my line. Didn't even feel how big it was. I knew it was a bite though, but I figured I stopped there before running north to go punch the offshore grass. So when I stopped there, threw a Nico rig Cinco, caught a 5-pounder. That kind of helped me settle in. I remember when I caught that fish, I was like, man, I get to walk across stage. This is awesome because I really thought there's a good possibility I was going to blank at Clear Lake. So anyway, one thing led to another, and I ended up catching about 15 pounds by noon in that spot. I had left, went up north to punch the offshore grass. I want to make sure I did that because during practice, I never even got bit punching, but I did see other people catch fish, and a couple of my other friends that I networked with, they did catch fish. Your Joe Uribes, we were sharing info. He was helping me for the tournament, and again, pushing that offshore grass. The sun had popped out where we had a bunch of the wildfires and smoke cover. I mean, smoke is almost like overcast. I mean, it's really bad here on the West Coast and what's going on in California. So anyway, when it's overcast, I personally rather not punch just because I don't believe that there's a large percentage of fish underneath those mats like they are on a sunny day. So when the sun popped out, again, I ran over there and did it and punched a Yamamoto Cowboy and caught a 4-pounder. So that set me up to be in 13th place, I believe, after the first day. So I knew I wasn't out of it. And all I'm trying to do here is get top 10 to secure Angler of the Year. Because, since I was a little kid, I mean, let's talk about the pressure of this tournament. I never felt that much pressure because this tournament was going to dictate what I'm going to do next year. I mean, really dictate what's going to happen. I mean, my goal is to fish the FLW Pro Circuit, which is the Major League Fishing Big 5 next year. And, I have to get top 5 in points to get an invitation. And I really didn't think after practice that was even possible. Okay. So, getting 13 pounds now made it possible, a little bit more realistic. I ran there the second day, and I was able to capitalize on a pretty big bag, 19 pounds. And halfway through the day, I figured a little something out. I saw these fish in my Lowrance unit swimming back and forth through the grass. I knew they were there, and I had to get them to react. Now, I don't know how they fish back east, but on the West Coast, Clear Lake is one of the only lakes I see guys do this. I mean, you see them throwing a jerkbait, a chatterbait, a rip bait. When they say ripping it, I'm talking about ripping it. Basically, these guys are setting it so hard, it looks like they're constantly setting the hook. So, I know they do that there. I've never done it myself. But when I figured out that bite where I threw out my LV 500, let it sit in the bottom, I'm basically just setting the hook as hard as I can. And, they were eating it at that point. So, again, caught 19 pounds, clued me in on what I need to do on the third day. I ran back out there, and by the first hour, I had 19 pounds already.
Wow.
Okay, it was pretty amazing. It's days that you kind of dream of as an angler. And I think around 10 o'clock, I was pretty much done. I had 25 pounds in the bag. And, my smallest fish was a 3.9. I'm catching 3.8s, 3.7s. And, I'm just throwing them back, which was amazing. Ended up catching a little over 30 fish that day, I believe. And yeah, I kind of look back at it. It's just like, wow, it's funny how like when things are meant to be, they're meant to be. I never really understood when people say, when it's your time, it's your time. And now I understand it. I mean, it was just my time again, fortunately. But really, I needed to do well to kind of make my dreams come true next year to fish the Big Five. I mean, since I was a little kid, my brother and I, we always woke up early watching TV, like the FLW Bassmasters. I mean, just dreaming that we can get there someday. I never knew how I was going to get there, but now that dream seems possible. So I have a chance to make a dream a reality, and I'm going to go for it. So you guys going to see me back east next year, and kind of tone down on the West Coast fishing for a little bit. My focus is going to be back east.
That's cool, man. That is a great story on what took place at Clear Lake. And that final day had to be one of the most special days you've ever had on the water, be it a tournament, non-tournament, whatever. Yeah. Just to not be dialed in, because everything that you said, you were not dialed in. You were dealing with adversity. And then all of a sudden you have this amazing day where you catch 26 pounds on the final day and get your second victory of the year. Can you do this? Can you go into a little bit more detail on what you were doing to trigger those fish with that technique that you mentioned earlier?
So the key thing for me was actually using a stiffer rod. Now, normally I throw a LV500 on a heavy cranking rod, just like the Fitzgerald 7.4 Bryant Thrift Series cranking rod. That's pretty much, if I'm throwing it in open water, not ripping out through heavy grass, that's the rod I like to use. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't able to do that. Although I still use that rod to fish the outside edges, the key thing was to use a 7.6 medium heavy, just like a spinner bait rod. It's a little stiffer. Also, another key thing was using heavier line, 20 pound. So, Brett Hite got it right. Brett Hite, when he fishes a chatterbait in grass, 20 pounds. It's, we don't use 20 pound for the sink rate or anything like that. It's just 20 pounds has less stretch than, say, 16, 18 pound test fluorocarbon. So we use 20 pounds because it has the right amount of stretch. And, I'm basically setting the hook as hard as I can. I mean, if you were throwing it and your arm doesn't burn after 10 minutes, you're not doing it right. I mean, I was doing it all day. I mean, I had veins running down my arm, and man, my arms were burning. But yeah, it was really a workout. So that was the key thing. And I had figured out a couple different angles. When I make a cast, I'll put the Lowrance trolling motor on anchor mode. So anchor down. I'm basically fan casting the whole area to kind of feel my way around. Once I identified the grass pockets, and which the grass is sitting about 8 to 10 feet of water. It was coontail. It was clumped up. It's only about 3 or 4 feet wide by 3 by 4 feet wide. Once you identified where those clumps are, you basically had to cast to the side of it. Don't cast in it, cast to the side of it. And you want to make repeated casts because, again, I'm telling you, those fish were there. They were using that area to either travel through, to move up and feed, because right in front of me, all there is a grass bed that went for 100 yards. And that was the only section at Clear Lake that I know of that had clean, healthy coontail. The water was relatively clear, because up north, the water was dirty, and we had a combination of spray boats going out there killing the grass, and also because the water is dirtier, there wasn't a lot of sunlight penetration. Therefore, the grass up north was dying faster. I was in the mid-lake area where the grass is clean, the water is cleaner, more sunlight penetration, better grass growth. So again, decided just to stick it out there. And again, it's funny how things worked out, because again, I didn't do good anywhere else around the lake. I didn't even do good there in practice. It was just one of the areas that kind of stumbled in on. But hey, at the end of the day, I mean, fishing, there's, everybody knows you need a little bit of luck to do well in these tournaments. But the how things set up, the I just use my prior experience with reading the water conditions and basically the situation I was in. Just changing the type of rod I was using. I mean, all that came into play one way or another, but that's how I was basically doing. So the last day I caught all my fish on 2 baits, which is really the same bait, just different colors, which is a Lucky Craft LV500, one in Ghost Minnow and the other one on Ghost Chartreuse Shad. I caught a 7-pounder, a 5-pounder on the Ghost Chartreuse Shad, and then the rest came on the Ghost Minnow. And also another key thing was using, upgrading my hooks. I mean, I believe that if I didn't use the right hooks, I would not have caught what I caught. I was using, I'm not sponsored by them, but got to give a shout out to a good product, which is Gamakatsu hooks, the EWGs. If you guys are out there throwing any lipless or any crankbait, really, do the EWG. Save yourself the trouble of losing fish. I learned the hard way. It's something that I wish I would have learned a long time ago. Because here, I'll show you. I actually have a bait right here.
Cool.
This is just a Rapala, right? It has round bins on them.
Hang on, a little bit to let's see here. Your left.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Now down a little bit.
Round bins on it. Yeah.
Hang on. We couldn't see it, Ty. There, that's a little bit better.
Okay. It has round bins on it. I'm going to show you what round bins do. When you hook it onto your hand, right? When you pull on it, you're going to see, you guys can do this at home. When you pull on it, that hook bends about 45 degrees this way and then drags down. So when you rip the bait into the fish's mouth and he only has one hook, that hook is going to drag 45 degrees, pull down. You just create a big old hole in that fish. And when he jumps, you're going to lose him, 4 out of 5 times. So my buddy Joe Uribe, we were out fishing Saguaro Lake a few years ago, and I was actually showing him how I throw a 10XD out there. There was a little bite that I found, and I was helping him to get dialed in for a deep cranking bite that might happen at Clear Lake. So again, took him out there. Clear Lake sets up a lot like our home lake Saguaro here. So again, when we need to go practice for Clear Lake, we don't go to Clear Lake, we go to Saguaro. And again, I was getting the bites, but I was losing so many giants. And anyway, Joe was getting fewer bites, but he was catching more. But I'm looking at the setup. We're throwing identical line, identical everything, similar action rod, but he had different hooks. So that really helped me kind of key in on what hooks I need to use when I'm fishing crankbaits or wood baits or anything like that. So again, little things that you learn over the years like that help you, because at the end of the day, the difference between having a good day on the water tournament fishing and a bad day is just that one bite. And if you happen to lose that bite, you're a 0. And if you do catch it, you're the man.
All right, that's good stuff. I have great news. My co-host has entered the studio. Matthew, get in here. All right, because I know you want to ask Ty some questions. And we'll talk about the whole clock situation later.
No, dude, this is weird. What's up, Ty? I was so pumped to talk to you because you're like the man on the West Coast now. I talked to all my buddies out on the West Coast, and they're like, dude, have you seen this? I'm like, yeah, I know if you fish the U.S. Open, and now he's just like dominating everything. So I've been listening to the interview. Here's what I've come up with, Mark.
Okay.
This is the weirdest thing, because I'm a man of routine, right?
Yeah.
I'm a man of routine. How many times have I been late to the show?
0.
In 12 years?
0.
So
Not
I'm getting
time.
ready. I'm doing my stuff, and I look down, and I'm like, why does it say 7:45, and why is it light, and why is there no traffic on the highway? So far I've come up with dyschromonementia, which is a lost time theory. I've also come up with transient global amnesia, which I feel very close is what happened to me this morning. You ever had that on the water? Like sometimes you looked out and you're like, how the hell is it 10 o'clock already? What happened to the first 2 hours? That's transient global amnesia, Ty. Anyway, I'm here. I'm sorry.
A trick to buying more time on the water, I look at the clock. If I look at the clock every second, time seems to slow down. But if I'm not paying attention, I'll sneak up on you. So I don't know if you guys ever do that.
All right. Well, I'm glad you made it. we've
You're
got
gonna kick
a
my
little
ass
bit.
later. Aren't
No,
you?
man, it's all good. It's all good. Things happen. It's the first time you've been late in 12 years. It's all good. All right, Ty, let's talk a little bit about the U.S. Open. What are your expectations? What can the fans expect from this event coming up next week?
It's going to be a really interesting U.S. Open because I was out there about, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you're fishing the Wild West Open, or I'm sorry, the Wild West Teams Championships. And, besides Roy Hawk, I mean, the weights are pretty low. October does fish a little better than September, and we do have a cold front coming through. So temperatures right now is in the low 100s, sometimes mid 100s, depending what day you're looking at. But it's going to drop significantly. And for a lot of guys like myself, it will be the coldest U.S. Open in history, I believe. Highs are only going to be in the 80s, and the lows are in the 50s. When the water gets a little colder there, the fish have a tendency of schooling up a little bit more. They feed a little bit more. But the issue is you got 244 boats out there, plus some co-anglers that bring up their boats. So, I mean, high 200s. Everybody's going to be sticking them in practice, and that's a big no-no. I mean, it's amazing how big that lake is, but yet, how it shuts down when there's a little bit of pressure. I mean, there's no lake out here on the West Coast that shuts down more than Lake Mead does when there's a little bit of pressure on it. So a lot of guys are going to have a tough time. A lot of guys are going to come in with 4 or 5 pounds. Yes, somebody's going to catch a 12, 13, maybe even a 14-pound bag. And then the key thing is to follow that up. I mean, it's really hard to do that at Lake Mead 3 days in a row. And, it's going to be a combination of top water, finesse, shallow versus deep. And, last year was one shallow. I do know that. Last year was one on flipping chatterbaits, buzz baits type of deal. But this year, with the wind blowing the way it's projected to be the first day, which is going to be in the mid-20s to low 30s, gusts up to low 30s. It may get canceled if the weather doesn't change. But or the first day, I should say. Tuesday and Wednesday is supposed to be calm. So, you're going to have to be ready for the changing conditions. You have to practice around it. You're going to have to practice areas both protected and non-protected from the wind just to be ready to make that change. So it's not going to be one on a single spot. I can guarantee you that. It's going to be one from guys making the adjustment, fishing the conditions, and covering a lot of water.
Ty, you've had some really good finishes in the U.S. Open. You've had a top 5 in that. I came in and was hearing your interview on what your goal was as far as fishing professionally, moving that next year. As a West Coast guy, you kind of grew up around all those legends, the Aaron Martins, Brett Heights, Cliff Perches. Where does that U.S. Open rank on your kind of scale of things that you want to win? I mean, you've been there, you've come close, you've tasted it. Now you're winning everything out there. Is the U.S. Open at the top of that list to get the job done here in the next couple of years?
Of course. The U.S. Open is kind of like our West Coast Bassmaster Classic, right? So, of course, I mean, who doesn't want to win it? And, Billy did a great job growing it, and now we're up to 200-something boats. It's just going to get harder and harder to win from here on out. And, you got the biggest names on the West Coast fishing it. So, you got to show up and you got to fish it. And basically, once you win, you solidify yourself as one of being the best on the West Coast. I mean, last year, my good buddy Nick Salvucci won it, and that guy's a stud there. The crazy thing about Nick is, he's not a local. He doesn't even know that lake. And I'm wondering how he's going to do this year because historically, I've done very well at Mead. I think 3 or 4 years ago, I got second at the Wild West Teams Championship in June. I got 4th at the U.S. Open. 2 weeks later, I got second at the Wild West Bass Championship. A year later, I got 3rd at the championship. And ever since then, it just went downhill. It's just, I think that I know the lake too well. And the problem with that is, you can't fish history there. you basically have to go fish areas that may look good or not look good. One of the patterns that we found at the Wild West Championship was we basically had to find areas that we think that other people didn't fish. So we will pull up on a sandy beach with nothing around, fish for 50 yards, find a grass patch, and catch 3. All the obvious stuff, the points, secondary points, the pockets, the rocks, the grass beds, all that's been hit multiple times. And you got to find some off the wall stuff that people haven't, overlooked, or people have overlooked, I should say. So, the more you know it, the more, the harder it gets, I think. But, that's why purposely this year, this year and the years prior, I don't practice a lot at the U.S. Open. I want to give it 2 days. That's it. I don't want to spend any more than that, because the 1 year that I spent a lot of time practicing, I'll tell you about my first day. I ran all the way up to the Overton. I ran to the mouth of Greg's Basin, ran back to Temple Bar, ran all the way to the dam, ran to the mouth of Vegas Wash, and came in with like 2 gallons of fuel left for 5 pounds, I think. So
Wow.
not going to happen again. So I spent more time driving than I did fishing. But, when you spread yourself too thin like that, you just basically put yourself at a huge disadvantage, because you lost, what was that, 3 hours of driving time?
Yeah.
So with that being said, you almost got to practice in a couple basins and just hope and roll the dice on it. Hopefully that, you're right.
Yeah, very cool. All right, man. We're going to wrap this up, but I have to know, sponsorship-wise, obviously you're stepping up to the next level. You've had success. You've got victories. How does your sponsor lineup look like for 2021?
Still a little nervous. I'm still a little bit behind, to be honest with you. And again, I would like to, find a little bit more support. And the clock's ticking. I know a lot of the companies are doing the budgeting for the year, between September and October. So I'm starting to get a little nervous. I got a pretty busy schedule, both with work and then tournaments. So I'm trying to balance everything, including family. So I'm actually having a pretty difficult time, but, most of my sponsors are supporting my decision to go back east. So, I'll make the announcement as time comes. But again, that's why that tournament meant a lot to me, because that was going to dictate if I was going to be able to do next year or not. So I'm pretty close, but again, still got a lot of work to do, because I got to figure out the logistics. My plan is to go back there, leave my truck and rig back there, fly back, work for 3-4 weeks, fly back, and drive to the next tournament. And that's the only way I can do it. So I got to figure out all the logistics stuff. And on Sunday, when I downloaded all the lakes down to my Platinum Plus Navionics card, man, I had a hard time finding these lakes even on a map. So, yeah, it took me forever to find it. And when I did find, I'm like, well, what do I download? Because all these lakes are so big relative to anything we have on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So hopefully I won't have, that hard of a time finding fish, but I know I definitely got my work cut out for me.
It's got to help, though, to know. I mean, there is a slew of West Coast anglers who have made that transition, and you don't want to name them all because there's dozens of them, of guys that have come over. But, I mean, historically, you get the young guys who dominate on the West Coast, and they figure out that transition pretty good, because you have the grass, you have the rock, you have the clear. You could have some, muddy or stained water like there are in different portions. I mean, historically, out of that portion of the country, the guys transition pretty well. It seems to be the financial, the time, and the travel that really kind of separates the guys who make it and the guys who don't.
Yeah, that's scary, because there's so many guys out there. I mean, especially on the West Coast. I mean, I think the West Coast produce some of the best anglers out there nationwide or in the world, because there's so many fisheries that kind of test us. You got the Delta, tidal water fishery. You got, Shasta, which is spotted bass. And, we got some of the best swim bait lakes on the West Coast that you got to go up against the swim bait guys. And you got down in the desert where you can go to Mojave and look down 25 feet and see a crayfish calling down there. I mean, super clear in water. So, you know, we have pretty much everything, especially here in Arizona. A lot of guys don't think bass fishing in Arizona hand in hand, but we do have a lot of good lakes here that help you. For example, I grew up fishing Patagonia Lake. The limit there is only 3 fish, surrounded by tules, grass, most parts of the year. But that Tucson, city in Arizona produced some of the best anglers that I've seen, because we understand how to fish for quality, not quantity. One of my earliest experiences was when I first started tournament fishing when I was 16. All I threw was a bungee worm, Berkeley bungee worm. And I went out there and I caught, 28 fish. Joined my first tournament. My brother caught 28 fish, and these guys won. I'm like, hey, how many fish did you catch? They brought in 3 big ones for about 12 pounds, and we had 7, and we caught 28. Well, they said, oh, we only caught 6. I'm like, what? We caught 28. Next tournament, went back out there, caught like 30, right? And those guys won it again. Hey, how many fish did you guys catch? Oh, we caught 5. Light bulb. So that was my light bulb moment that, you're supposed to go for quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
But as a multi-day, fishing the regional level events, multi-day, basically in teams, like when you go out there, you and your partner, both of you guys are swinging for it. When you're fishing regional level events, you have to kind of tone that out. You have to bring in a limit, and then you got to figure out how to catch 1 or 2 kickers instead of all 5 or all 3 in that format down in Tucson. So again, I've done all I can on the West Coast and learned all I can. I know back east I'm going to have my challenges, and I gotta learn those lakes and learn how to fish those lakes back there. But yeah, it does help. I got a lot of friends supporting me, and then I do know a lot of the pros, just like Josh Bertrand. You guys just had him on the show not too long ago. Him and I have been talking a lot. I've been talking to my good buddy Mark Daniels, another West Coast fisherman that moved his family out to Alabama. And I got a lot of companies. My buddy Kevin Finley from Kevin Finley from Signature Gates and Welding Company. Gary Yamamoto stepping up to help me next year. There's a few other guys which I'll make the announcement soon. But yeah, I'm excited. I've not been sleeping very well, just because I've just been excited, guys. I'm
with you, man.
Waking up so early and. Yeah, something that I've been dreaming. I'm going to be 38 here in about a couple weeks, and finally that dream is becoming a reality. So something that's really special to me, and it's really a special feeling when you have your friends and family standing behind you, kind of pushing you and supporting you to go that direction.
Yeah. Hey, man, we wish you nothing but the best. Obviously, with you being full-time dad, full-time husband, you got full-time job. Full-time fisherman. You got a lot on your plate, but I got to tell you, man, you're a class act, and the sponsors will come. You keep catching them. You keep doing what you're doing. The sponsors will come, because a major class act, and we wish you nothing but the best, man.
Hey, thanks, Mark, Matt. Pleasure having you. Finally made it on the show, so it's a big deal for me, too.
Yeah.
Hey, I finally made it on the show today, too. We got that in common, Tom.
All right, man. Good luck to you at the U.S. Open. Hopefully we'll have you back on soon, man.
All right. Hey, see you guys. We'll see you.
All right. Take care.
All right. See you.
All right. There you have it. Tai Au. Dude,
I listened to the first part of the interview. Yeah, absolutely. He's surrounding himself with the right people. You look at what Bertrand did, going from the guide and the young. He's got 2 young kids at home doing the thing. Mark Daniels Jr. made the move, but he won the Federation Nation National Championship, made that move in like 2013. So I've been really excited following him. You talk to a lot of guys, and Tai Au gets mentioned a lot. Well, he's fished 18 events with FLW. Now 2 of them were co-anglers, but he's got 7 top 10 finishes.
Yeah.
And we're not talking like BFLs or anything here. These are all Toyota Series, Costa Series, championship events, the whole 9 yards. So
yeah, good dude. Wish him nothing but the best. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come back with Pat Nye of the NPAA. Got it, Matthew?
Yeah, I know all about this. I have dialed in and ready for this. That's why I said I was doing my NPAA research, and I said, why does the clock say 7:45,
What did you
not
call that?
6:45.
Dementia or something? What
No, we'll get it. I have three. I have three reasons. The main one that sticks out is transient global global amnesia.
Yeah.
Maybe a kind of a hybrid form of that or something.
Yeah.
I lost an hour, dude. I did everything the same. I woke up at the same. I took the same shower.
You'll never get it
went
back,
to the gas station. I did everything exactly the same. I set my alarm. I have alarm set. This is freaking me out, Mark. I have my alarm set for 5:02, 5:09, and 5:17.
Yeah, it's going to be okay, man.
All right. I'm excited for this. A lot of cool stuff with the NPAA that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that we know that are involved with this.
I
and it's
didn't
been
know about
around
it.
for forever.
I know, and I didn't know about it. Ran across it, so we're going to get Pat on here in a few minutes. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Let's face it, fishing electronics are no longer an afterthought. They've become a necessity. And at the Bass Tank, our experts match you with the right electronics, provide professional installation, and educate you to help maximize your catching results while providing support along the way. Because let's be honest, it's about catching, not just fishing. And when you're ready for better results, join the Bass Tank team. Visit us today on Facebook or go to thebasstank.com.
Hey everybody, Tai Cloth here. Want to show you one of my favorite braided lines, SX1 30-pound Sunline braid. I use this braided line for a couple of different applications, and one of my favorites to use for this line is a swim jig. Casts great, and it's small diameter, and just works really great on a swim jig. Another technique I like to use for 30-pound SX1 Sunline braid is whenever I'm flipping like a light, say an 1/8 to a 1/4 ounce weight in grass, small diameter, I don't lose much action on my worm, just works great in those scenarios. So if you're looking for a braided line for a swim jig or fishing a light Texas rig, check out Sunline's SX1 30-pound braid.
AFCO's new Uri performance shirts are made out of a new fabric. Aeromesh technology, Aeromesh fabric, really breathable. You know, it just doesn't stick to you whenever you're sweating. It's 105 in Florida. You know, you got sun beating down, there's hardly any wind. You know, your shirt won't stick to your back or anything like that. Any little breeze gets through it, and all the AFCO features that you like with the hood, not without a hood, depending on which one you like. It's got odor technology, so your pits don't stink whenever you're sweating. It has thumb loops. So whenever you're driving down the lake, 70 miles an hour on a bass boat, you got the thumb through here, sleeves won't roll up, so you have no excuse if you get sunburned. Any little breath of air gets through and cools you down, so make sure you check them out. Any fish, any water, any conditions, AFCO has you covered.
All right, we are back on a Tuesday. Matt, he is in studio. And he has lost an hour of his life that he will never get back and has no idea where it went.
You know what? You watch those shows on the History Channel about like, hey, I was abducted by aliens and I don't know what happened.
Don't even go there, man.
I'm not saying something happened there. I'm saying there's got to be some sort of medical mystery as to what's going on. I feel fine. I don't feel like I was, you know, like tasered up into anything. It's just an hour that's gone.
Yeah, well, you're here, and that's the good news.
You know, my dad watches the show, and he's like, everything okay? And I said, I don't know. I think it is.
Breakfast with aliens. That's what you were doing, right?
It was weird, but hey.
All right, it is time to go to our next guest, and really, really excited about finding out more about this organization that, quite honestly, I didn't know existed. They've been around for a long time. The NPAA. We're going to have the executive director, Pat Nye, on right now. So let's bring him in. Pat, you there, man?
Good morning. I am absolutely here on time.
All right. Yeah. Well, you know, some people are on time. We're a little late getting to you, but at least you didn't get
a little side shot right off the hopper there.
Heck yeah! At least you didn't lose an hour of your life that you have no idea where it went.
That's true. I'm thinking that maybe that's a new symptom of COVID. Lots of
no, it's not that. I'm good to go.
We have plexiglass right here.
I'm good to go.
There you go.
All right, Pat, man, greatly appreciate you taking time out. And I'm just being honest. I had no idea about this organization. And I was thinking last night, I remember, when did Ike and Ellie win Angler of the Year? What was that, 2003?
I think he won the Angler of the Year. I thought his Classic was 2003. Might have been
2006? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Classic was 2000. I remember sitting in a basement of a building in Kimberling City when it was the first time that I had ever been involved with a lot of people trying to get together to better the sport as an organization. And that was the first meeting of the PAA. Now, I think it is important that when we talk to you today and the fans listen to this show, this is not that organization that existed a few years ago. This is something that is totally different. And I'm super glad that I ran across it, and I feel very thankful to have you on the show, Pat, to where you can talk about the organization and really explain to the fans what this organization is all about.
Well, I'm really glad to be here. We definitely are not the PAA, and we've been in existence. The National Professional Anglers Association has been in existence for going on 24 years this coming year. So 23 years right now, around a long time, and it was created by a group of professional walleye anglers who were looking to create an umbrella organization that could help them become better at the craft. And the craft is making money as a professional angler, whether you're a guide, charter captain, tournament angler. It's a business, and that's what our organization is about, is to help our members become more professional, do a better job at making money as a professional angler, and then, as importantly, grow and protect the sport that we all love and is critical to what we do.
So the walleye would explain why everyone calls you Pat Nye the walleye guy.
That might have something to do with it.
I'm just saying.
Now, that said, everybody knows where Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin is now. And I've lived here for about 30 years, and I've got 4 top 10 finishes in a bass tournament here, the Sturgeon Bay Open. So I can catch those things too. Those are actually kind of easy to catch.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You talk to the walleye guys at media events and stuff, and they're always like, you bass fishermen, we go through 34 and 5 pound smallmouth a day, and you guys go out and try to catch 5, and we're just like, these things are jumping on the planer boards, and we're like, these dang 5 pound smallmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, put me in a body of water that isn't full of them, and I would struggle. So,
but one of the things that you're trying to do then is I guess raise the awareness and expand it, not only from the walleye, but really kind of raise the awareness of the NPAA in the bass fishing world.
Correct. I mean, here's the reality: we've got a number that's extremely large in this country of anglers that have taken a step from passion to profession. No matter the species, no matter the technique they're using, there's a lot of professional anglers out there. And again, I said guides, charter captains, tournament anglers, and we need to look at this business that we've got as just that, a business. And the National Professional Anglers Association is here to support that. We are a 501c6, which is a nonprofit, a type of nonprofit, and basically we're a trade association. So we're out here to support our members and our partners in any way that we can in their pursuit of making a living at fishing.
All right, let's talk about the word professional, because so many people have their own definition of what a professional is. When you talk about professional, what professional or non-professional would benefit from a membership to your organization?
Well, we have members that range from the upper echelon in the bass world to the upper echelon in the walleye world to some of the best guides out there, all the way to high school and college anglers who are looking to get better on and off the water and really make fishing a living. So, for instance, when you were talking about Ike a few minutes ago, Ike is a member, and Ike's on our board of directors. So we have this gamut of anglers who are looking at angling and the professional side of it, and looking to become better at it, and looking to become involved, and also looking to grow and protect the sport along with the professional side of what we do. So we are involved in protecting the resource. We're involved in the industry. I happen to be, as executive director of our association, have been appointed to the American Sport Fishing Association's Government Affairs Committee. Would be my 4th 2-year term on that, and also the Communications Committee. So we've got a voice as anglers to go out there and help all of our members, protect what you do, but also have you become better at what you do, and are there to support that.
Here's what I've kind of gathered looking into this, because I had someone call that was like, hey, you, with what you're doing, Matt, me, you need to be a part of this because it benefits you. So I started looking into it, and I'm seeing, there's a gamut of options here. So if you are a BFL guy looking to step up to the Costas, you have pro staff deals, sponsorship deals. There's stuff that the NPAA has that can help you with, social media, marketing, what people in the professional world of what you're trying to do, if you're trying to do it full time or not, can help you on what they expect and how to get that better. In addition, there's stuff that they're working on with like insurance, boat insurance, that type of thing that makes it better for independent contractors like me, who don't have things. Then if you're aspiring, the high school, the collegiate program, junior anglers, it's super easy and reasonable to get them in. Great gift ideas, stuff like that, to start to where they can not only focus on their fishing, but then kind of have a path through the NPAA and the resources that they have to kind of start and see a path where they can turn this into a small, a career, not at 100% professional level. So you're talking open anglers, Costa anglers,
guides,
tons of guides, BFL guys with pro team deals, and then there's just a host of information and opportunities to kind of support all those people with an organization that is not running tournaments, right? You guys don't run tournaments. It's completely independent from anything.
Correct.
Yeah, Pat, let me ask you this. He gave some examples. When I introed the show today, I talked about taxes and insurance and all kinds of stuff. Really, what are some of the great benefits that your organization provides its members?
Well, there's a whole list of bullet-pointed benefits that are on our website that are available for them to look at. But I'm going to pick out some of the ones that I think are the most important. And, you mentioned insurance. Many anglers at all those levels that you just mentioned go out there and fish tournaments, and they may find out, if they have an issue, that they're not covered because they have the wrong kind of insurance. You don't know what you don't know. And the insurance companies don't all cover tournament anglers and boats used in tournaments. So we've got a program with one of the best agents in the country at insuring tournament anglers that makes sure you have that correct insurance. And that doesn't seem like a gigantic issue until you have that gigantic issue, and it could ruin your family, your finances for life if you have the wrong insurance and you've got a claim that's a liability claim. So that's one example. But the other part of it is, we have a conference every year that is well attended. It moves mostly around the upper Midwest at this point, but we're going to be expanding that. That conference is critical in learning about the sport. We have great speakers. Ike's been there, Jordan Lee, Jacob Wheeler, Kevin Van Dam, all talking about not angling. They don't come there to talk about angling. They come there to talk about the business side of angling. Things that they don't talk about in any other venue. That is important benefit to being an NPAA member, in that you can come to that conference and learn more in a 3-day, 3-day period than you can in years on your own. It's just reality. We archive those videos of the presentations given so that our members have access to them and go back and use them as content and resource to become better at what you do. The other part of it is, you mentioned it, but we have partners, and we have about 70 industry partners, many of which offer discounts to our members that are a true benefit to the member. And I don't go into detail on what they are. We can certainly share that if you want to call us or email us. But those discounts, you use one or two of those discounts in the course of the year, you will most likely have paid for your $100 membership. But the discounts alone are not the reason to join this association. The reason to join the association has much more to do with protecting the future of the sport, giving back to the sport that you are an opinion leader in, and becoming better at what you do, along with all the networking that you can do by meeting people at the conference and online in our Facebook group. There's just so many things that as a trade association we can help you with as anglers.
Here's the thing that I find interesting, and I've talked about this a lot before, and it not like to use the term like union, but I mean, you have like the Anglers Committee, you had it with FLW, an advisory board. You have one with MLF. You have one with Bass, but they're all tied in with that organization, and they fish with that organization.
It's all tournament related.
And it's all tournament related. So in a sense, there's no true independent voice. And I remember when the PAA first started, before they got into the tournaments, a lot of the guys were involved with that, actually did the media for that when they first started the tournaments. And there was a kind of a push on that, like, hey, if we can all get together here, we can do things that are beneficial for the anglers as a whole. Now, I don't know what the hell happened to the PAA, but it happened. So right now we've got an independent organization here, and
that's been around a long time.
That's been around for a long time with a cool logo of a guy just actually absolutely yakking one on a spinning rod. Were you the model for the logo, Pat?
I think the logo might have been there just a tad before I got heavily involved.
Anyway,
he's not Jerry West.
He's not the Jerry West of the NPA.
No.
Anyway, here's the thing that I see. As an angler that's beneficial for this, we all get together and you hear guys complain about what's going on or say this is really good. The more that are all part of the same thing that's completely independent, that are on the same page with some direction and leadership and meetings, the more influence you can have over those organizations. So instead of just dealing with it, you actually have power behind it, to where you're influencing the organizations and working towards a better life, a better career for professional anglers as a whole, instead of just saying, well, I got to fish it, so I got to do what they say, and I got no other option.
Yeah.
So the more and bigger this gets and the more people get involved, I think the more positive influence it could have on the sport as a whole. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, absolutely. There's so much more even beyond that with regard to bringing everybody under one umbrella as a collective voice to empower us and to really help us become a catalyst for positive change for the sport. We've got so many opportunities if we can get the numbers that I believe are out there in the way of anglers that have taken that step from passion to profession under this one umbrella. If we become a 10,000 member organization, which quite frankly, we're 1,300 members today, we've not even scratched the surface. We become 10,000 members, we're starting to scratch the surface, but I think it's possibly 10% or less of what should be members. We get to be that big number. We've got so many things that we can do collectively, including looking at things like group health insurance for professional anglers. We can look at the importance in bringing together retirement programs for those. And we've already got partners that are there to help with that. That's some of its reality. But the big reality is the bigger we become and the more we become a collective voice, the better it is for everybody. That's why it's so important for everybody to be a member of this organization that is larger than what you are individually, because it's a collective voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, you just lost a member, Pat, because of the Packers flag.
Oh,
you got a Vikings fan. I think.
Blame
oh
that
no. They're
Jesus
just jealous of the
Blair.
4-0 start. They're jealous of the 4-0 start. Pat.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, real quick. Obviously, did the conference take place virtually this year?
Well, interesting story with the conference. So traditionally, our conference has been the first weekend in January following the New Year's. So we had our conference in 2020 already. It occurred January 3rd, 4th, and 5th of 2020. At that conference, we must have been clairvoyant. The board decided to change the dates for the conference. So our next conference will actually occur in October of 2021. So not in a few weeks, but a year from a few weeks from now. We're going to hold it on the 19th to the 21st in 2021. And it turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to us, because we now don't have to worry about whether we're going to be able to hold it in January this year. So, mark that down and plan to be there October 19th to the 21st, 2021. And I'm give you a little snippet of information that isn't public. It'll most likely be in Ohio at a great location. And there may be a little fishing involved in this.
Okay. Very nice. Now, I want to ask you about the conference itself, because I have this picture in my mind based upon what takes place in another industry, all right, that is enormously beneficial to individuals. And I want to see if this is the same thing. This organization actually has breakout sections that talk about specific topics during this 3-day conference. Is that kind of the model that you follow, to where if there's specific areas in the industry that you have speakers and you have, I don't want to say tutorials, but you actually have people that can engage with different topics at this conference in like breakout sessions? Does that exist?
That's exactly the way we set this up. So, for several years now, it used to be a meeting where everybody would get together and it was all networking. And there was a little discussion about the association itself in a business meeting. Since about 2009, we rolled it into a conference. And when you have a conference, it's educational, along with networking and entertaining. The educational component's the biggest component to the conference. As I mentioned earlier, you can learn more in a 3-day conference than you'll learn in 10 years on your own, by going to the breakout sessions that we offer each year. And we keep rolling through the topics, and we come back to topics that are important over and over again. Things like record keeping and taxes, and making. We have a segment on insurance, or a breakout session on insurance. Usually, we have sessions on social media. Those breakout sessions are highly educational and give us the opportunity to talk about the things that you need to know as a professional angler in, not quite a one-on-one basis, but a small group basis. So we run the breakout sessions 2 and 3 times so that you can decide which is important to you and go to it. On top of that, we have a general session where we have keynote speakers, or featured speakers is the way I like to put it. And last year we had Ike there. He did a tremendous job. We also happen to have a gentleman that's done pretty well in the fishing world. Johnny Morris spoke at our conference last year, and gave an impassioned, presentation on his love for sport fishing and tournament fishing. We've had, anglers, like I mentioned before, Jacob Wheeler and Jordan Lee. And, Al Lindner, an icon in the industry on the educational side, has spoken. So there is just so much that you're going to gain by coming to that conference that it's really hard to put a dollar figure on it. But quite frankly, I mean, the cost of the membership just to come to the conference, it's covered easily with that. And the other part of it is, when we do a conference, and if you've been in other conferences, they cost anywhere from $300 to $400 to cover the meals and cover, the expense to rent the rooms and the speakers. Our conference fees are right around $200. And quite frankly, it'll probably be $175 this year. We haven't nailed it down, but or this coming year. This past year was $150. So it's a real affordable situation. And I think I highly recommend that you look into the association for no other reason, just to come to the conference. By the way, you don't have to be a member to come to the conference. You do save $50 if you're a member. So you pay half your membership fee there, but you can come and check us out and join while you're at the conference. We just really want to help you.
All right, real quick, there's been a couple of comments on the instant feedback about how can this benefit, and we've talked about it already, I mean, just the conference alone, but you have a lot of anglers across the U.S. that are weekend guys. They fish the BFLs. They fish their local team tournaments. They all, for the most part, have either businesses or they have 8 to 5 jobs. They're busy. There still is a huge benefit to being part of this organization, even though you're not the true touring professional. Matt and I have had the discussion about the non-touring professional, the guys that go out and fish 20 weekends a year, if not more or less.
Do the boat shows to get their boat deal, have a rod deal.
They are in the game. And that right there, I think, is a challenge to really get these anglers to understand the benefits in this organization, even though you're not a touring professional.
The reality is those that you just described are the anglers that would benefit the most from our association. That they're the ones that are learning. They're the ones that are aspiring to become better at what they do, both on and off the water. And the resources that we offer are really geared at them. The touring pros that you mentioned have other resources to fall back on. Some of them have managers. Some of them are highly sponsored at a high level. What we've found is we've got some of those guys too, and we will get more of them. But what we have found is that it's the guys that are making money fishing as a part-time job, probably not full-time, but part-time job, and it is a job, are the ones that benefit from our association, because they're now able to understand through people who've been there, done that there's a lot to this business in this game, and that there's a lot to learn, and that it's all about learning what you don't know. And those are the anglers that would benefit the most.
There you go.
All right. Now we're going to do something special. I'm going to throw a graphic up here.
Oh, you have a graphic?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. That's a fancy graphic.
All right. We have a graphic. What we're going to do exclusively to BTL fans, BTL listeners on the podcast, if you go to NPAA.net and join from now until October 16th, you're going to receive some free stuff if you use the BTL code during the checkout process, is the way that I get it. All right.
That's correct.
And that code is BTL20. So if you join between now and October 16th, use the code BTL20, you're going to get some Sunline FC Sniper line. You're going to get 2 bags of the new BFEs.
In BTL, I believe.
I believe so. I'm not sure on that.
Like that's what I had heard.
All right. You're going to get a $20 gift card for Skeeter apparel, a $20 gift card for Minn Kota apparel, and a $20 gift card for Humminbird apparel. So right there, it's a $75 value, at least $75 or more.
But here's the thing, and correct me if I'm wrong here, aren't there a bunch of other companies that you have partnered with that have discounts once you're...
Well, he mentioned that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, so on top of that, then you get all the discounts, 20, 30, 40% off, and then you get to see what all that stuff is.
Yeah, and I think, Pat, didn't you say, if anybody has any questions about that, they can contact the office, and you will be more than happy to discuss what those discounts are, correct?
Absolutely. That's absolutely. I tend to believe that the discounts that we offer or our partners offer, it's strictly up to them as to whether they offer a discount program or not. But they're a good perk, and I think that those that are listening will benefit from, or I know they will benefit from them, because there's some very good companies offering those discounts. But again, that's not the reason for joining the association. Mm-hmm. We would love to have you join this association and understand that by joining the association, you're giving back to the sport you love, and you're helping us become that collective voice. And that's really, really important.
All right. Cool stuff right there. You get all that stuff. You get the conference, you get the discounts, you get the education, you get the guidance. Not bad for $100 for a membership.
Or if you have a high school or a college angler, it's like $20 or $40.
I think it's more than
high
that.
school,
$50.
High school and college is $50 annually, okay. and then there's a $20 affiliate membership for the kids, and basically they get a decal and a T-shirt. What I can tell you in these two membership levels, the reason we have the high school and college student angler membership level is we all know they don't have any money. At least they got enough money to buy tackle, because I've raised a son who's got more tackle than I do.
Yeah, some of them do there, Pat. Some of them have a lot of money.
A lot, yeah. And they hoard it. They're good at it. So they only spend it on things they need to spend it on. But we want them as members early. We think that we can help the future of the sport by having them join us early. So their membership does not include this. So in other words, if you go and join it as a student angler right now, it's a $50 membership, and you will not get the $75 value.
Yeah.
I would recommend to those kids right now, you can join as a pro. It basically with the free stuff here, and have it be less net money to you. But either way, the importance of the student angler memberships there for the industry and for our young anglers that are aspiring to become the next level of, or the next group of professionals.
Yeah. All right. Great stuff, Pat. Don't forget, folks, go to npaa.net to join. And then when you check out, use the promo code BTL20, and you will get this special gift package offer from the NPAA. But more importantly, you're going to join an organization that's been around forever, and they're going to do some great things for you as somebody involved in this game at any level.
I have more questions.
Do you?
Yeah. All right. So Oklahoma has a shockingly good population of sauger, sawguy, and in some cases walleye. Have you ever? I mean, you're Pat Nye, the walleye guy, so I'm going to take advantage of this. I love eating walleye. What can I say?
Okay.
So, have you ever walleye fished in I guess southern impoundments?
I have done so one time down on a lake right outside Flippin, Arkansas.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions? So the lake, let's say the lake is fairly stained. It has a fairly good population of sawguy in it.
Okay.
I typically catch them in the spring on square bills.
Yeah.
But I want to target them this fall and winter. Like I want to go out and fish for them. We're talking a lot of clay points, not a whole lot of rock, a little bit of gravel, some defied channels. I'm talking about Dirty Bird.
Yeah,
Mark.
Yeah, I knew that.
Your suggestion on just a couple suggestions on getting in the right spot and what's something that those fish will eat, because I mean I'm literally just throwing a black and chartreuse square lip on clay points and hoping it's a saw guy.
So how stained is it?
We're talking 1.5 foot of visibility.
Okay, so it's pretty stained.
Yeah.
In the colder months, the colder weather months, I think that you will be shocked at the number of fish that you can catch shallow.
Okay.
And you obviously don't mark those fish. One of the things that I would recommend is throw some jerk baits at them.
Okay.
Because you can cover some ground, and if you catch one, then you can slow down and maybe try some other techniques, including throwing swim bait at them. They like swim baits a lot. 2.8 Kitech works really well for them. Hair jigs work really well for them. And the key is to find that depth that they're at. And they could be deeper. If they're deeper, they're more difficult to catch with artificial, but you can. So I would throw ripping wraps at them if they're in 12 to 18 feet of water and you're marking fish. Throw a ripping wrap out there and jig it back, and you can catch some spots, and you can catch these saugeye too. They'll eat it.
I'll give it a shot. I was afraid. I didn't know about like jigging minnow or the leech on a slip cork. I didn't know what we were coming here because I'm used to Canada where you troll the. I used to make the spinners, like where you go bead, spinner, bead, true turn hook, and then you put a chunk of crawler, and then you slow troll it. I grew up doing that. Man, my mom would chant walleye.
It's good eating.
A troll.
Good eating,
man. That definitely works, and you can catch them on meat, as we call it. There's other ways to catch them, and what we're finding is that artificial works as well. You just need to be on the fish.
All
right, there you have it. All right, Pat, man, we appreciate you taking time out and at least educating me, hopefully educating the fans about your organization, the NPAA. I had no idea. Now I know. And it is definitely a great thing to belong to at any level that you are involved in.
What's the BTL
this
discount code one more time?
BTL 20. I'll flash the graphic up before we sign off.
Okay.
All right, Pat.
Perfect.
All right, man. Great stuff, man. Thanks for taking time to join us, and best of luck to you, Pat.
Thanks for giving us the opportunity to share what I think is critical for the future of our sport and for our association. And thanks to all your listeners for listening to what we had to say, and reach out to us. We're here for you, for our members. Nonprofit organization here to help grow and protect the sport and create more professionalism.
One more thing. What's the hat? It looks cool. Is it an Asian carp hat?
That is absolutely, well, it covers this.
That is cool.
But that is one of the things that we do. I sit on the government affairs committee, been in more committee meetings about aquatic invasive species than you can imagine, and Asian carp are a huge issue. And so all of us need to do our part to help slow the spread of that aquatic invasive species and others. But yes, that is an Asian carp hat.
All right, there you have it. Pat, be safe, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Got it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
All right,
it.
Take care. All right, good stuff there, Matthew. Yeah, seriously, I had no idea.
I knew about it,
I had no idea.
but I didn't know until someone was like, hey, like a lot of stuff you talk about, this organization plus the rest of the stuff. So
good stuff. Good for all people involved. I think the biggest challenge is getting people to understand that it is not just touring professionals.
No.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
And if you go to their website, a lot more information on there. But Pat did a really good job kind of explaining what the organization's about. No ties to any other organizations, which I think is very important. There's no hidden agendas. There's none of that. They are doing everything they can to support the individuals that are involved in this game in all aspects.
I don't even want to go down this path, but I'm freaking out.
Dude, chill.
No.
All right, listen.
No.
What?
You don't know what happened during this interview, Mark.
What?
Okay, so I lose that hour today, right?
Yeah.
And what do I talk about?
Breakfast with aliens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, look at my phone. This is no BS. This is what happened during the interview.
Mm-hmm.
What's the area code of that number at the very top of missed call?
575.
I'm like, I don't know what that is. They don't leave a message. I Google area code 575. What city is 575 from? Look.
Where?
Look.
Where?
Look.
Where?
Look. Look. That's the truth.
Roswell, New Mexico.
That's the truth. I've got
What are you
goosebumps. Look at my arms right now. Look at my arm. Every hair on my arm is standing straight up, Mark.
Roswell, New Mexico. Dude, the aliens, they were hacked off because you left breakfast early. Roswell, New Mexico. Are you going to call the number back?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I'm not.
I'm sure there's other towns that are in the 575 area code besides Roswell. That's pretty funny, though. You're freaking out, aren't you? Don't freak out, dude. It's all good. It's all good. All right, real quick. No show tomorrow, folks. And then on Thursday, I'm glad you're going to be here. It's going to be your first watch party with Mark Menendez.
No, I did one of them, didn't I?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't recall. I think that was another lost hour of your life.
What is going on?
I believe that you have not participated in any of the watch parties. I could be wrong, but I feel very positive that you have not taken part. So Thursday, same time, 8:30, Mark Menendez. If you want to take part in the BTL watch party at Santee Cooper, just shoot me an email, mark@bassone.com.
No, I definitely did one of the watch parties.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't
Because they
think
had
so.
back-to-back weeks. And I missed the first one and was there for the second one.
SLR? Did you do SLR or Champlain? Did you do Champlain? I don't think you did.
I got to go back and do some research on this.
You might have, but I don't recall. Anyway, if you want to take part in the watch party on Thursday, hey, it is a tremendous opportunity to pick Mark Menendez's brain on what's going on at Santee Cooper. And I get the feeling we're going to have a lot of fill time on this one, Matthew.
Yeah.
If you don't know what
I
the
was
watch
there
party
for
is-
the St. Clair watch party.
Okay. My mistake.
I knew that. Gosh, you're
I'm just
freaking me
jacking
out,
with
Mark.
you there. I'm jacking with you a little bit. All right. Here's how the watch party works. We have permission to capture the live feed from the Bassmaster website from Bruce Aiken and Jim Sexton. Big shout out, big thank you to them for allowing us to do that. And then we have Mark Menendez on to break down the action that's taking place and giving the fans the availability to ask Mark any questions about what's going on or what's not going on. So you get a great opportunity to interact and engage with Mark while you are watching everything that's taking place with the Bassmaster live feed on Bassmaster.com. So that takes place on Thursday. If you want to take part, send me an email, mark@bassone.com. The second thing, next week I will have the schedule. Matt will not be here, but we will be doing our U.S. Open coverage. The schedule will be a little different next week, so I am currently working on that schedule that ties in all of our U.S. Open coverage. And then next week on Thursday and Friday, dude, I had no idea. It's fall break for me.
Oh, you going fishing?
So I am taking
your First Strike Custom Lures bowling pin popper.
That's right. And we are going to Lake X, and we're going to see if it catches a bass.
That'll definitely catch a bass. It looks like a shad.
I think it will too.
Is that the one that's half? Oh no, the half bowling pin is up there.
Yeah, no, that's the real deal.
That's
there.
the one that's got all the hardware on it.
Yeah, that's the real deal.
You gonna tie that to braid?
Yeah, I don't want to lose it. Yeah, so excited. I had no idea the fall break was next week, so I'm going to take a day and
that would
go
be
up to
really,
Lake
you got to
X.
take a picture of it.
Oh, I will. I'm not going to video or anything. I'm not into that, but I will take a
Now,
picture.
you're kind of into it. We've seen you on Brad's show quite a few times.
I'm chill and laid back.
Nah, you're into it.
Nah, no GoPros on
Brad
my
said he
boat.
likes filming with you because you get into it.
I just be myself,
You
man.
can just
That's
admit it. You liked it.
It was cool. It was all right, but it's just not my gig. Not my kind of
We're
thing.
going to put a chesty on you.
No,
While you throw the-
that's not happening.
While you throw the bowling pin pop bar.
All right, I'm going to see a doctor today, and hang on, let me pull up.
Good or
what this-
bad? Everything okay?
Well, hang on a second here, because this guy is a.
You're not going to like a mental coach for your
No,
bowling,
no,
are you?
no.
I thought that was a possibility.
I can't remember what exactly this guy does. Hang on a second.
Well, is it a body part? Is it a...
Yeah. It's for my back.
Oh.
All right. But he is... Oh, it doesn't say what kind of doctor he is. I thought he had some special name or something like that.
Chiropractor?
No, he's a anesthesiologist.
Oh.
And deals in pain management. Dude, my back has been killing me. I mean,
well, you're just getting back into the bowling thing.
I know, really, really bad.
You went through that the first time you got into it.
So this guy came recommended by one of my orthopedic surgeon friends that I used to coach with a long time ago.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go see him today. Acupuncture, maybe. I'm kind of intrigued with this whole visit.
Holistic healing?
I don't know, man. We're going to see. It's going to be kind of interesting. 3:00 today, and we'll see what they have in store for the old back.
Well, best
Needles, pins. One thing for sure, no medicine. I don't do the medicine at all. When I say medicine, I'm talking about the pills and stuff.
Yeah.
Just no. It's all either shots, acupuncture, PT, physical therapy, or whatever. So we'll see what goes on that. All right. I want to thank our two guests today. Tai Au. He's going to be a stud, man. He is really, really shining as one of the top performing West Coast anglers. And then Pat from the NPAA. Want to thank both of those guys. Good stuff, folks. Don't forget. Here, let me flash it up real quick. There's the graphic. Go to npaa.net. Join. It costs $100. You're going to get $75 in stuff. But more importantly, you're going to belong to an organization that is truly, truly having the best interest of the future of this game and taking care of everybody that is involved from a really multiple levels in this industry.
What's the discount code?
Discount code to get this stuff, if you join, is BTL20. Make sure you put that in there. You'll get the $75 gift pack there, and you will have a very, very valuable asset added to your portfolio of stuff being involved in this game. All right, man, that's it. Thursday watch party, you're going to be here, and then, dude,
I hope so.
You're getting after it.
I hope I'll be here.
You will be.
Just vaporize.
Roswell. I can't believe that's a Roswell area code. Wow. All right. Remember, folks, no show tomorrow. Watch party on Thursday. Send me an email, mark@bassone.com. We want you to take part in the watch party. And for those listening on iTunes, please remember, please take just a few minutes of your time, not the hour that Matthew lost this morning, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Please leave us a review on iTunes and give us a rating. It helps us out immensely. Anything else, Matthew?
That's all I got today.
All right, man, you're rocking. Everybody be safe out there. That's it. We're out of here.